Soccer County this evening, where a pair of sides that delivered a thriller a month ago lock horns in a crucial late season clash in USL League One. It is a Westchester side desperate for points against a red-hot Union Omaha bunch, and tonight's match is presented by Northwell Health. We say hello and welcome from Westchester County. I'm Sam Goldfarb, taking you every step of the way tonight. A Westchester team right now that is winless in their last 10 in league play, and this is a big product of where they sit now, 10 points south of the playoff line, which Omaha occupies the final spot in the top 8. A major disparity, and if Westchester is to kickstart a playoff push, they would need a win here this evening. And when you think back to the last time these two teams met, what a game it was. Westchester getting off to the strong start in the second half. Prince Sadie opening the scoring with this lovely finish, but then Omaha firing back with 2 goals in the final 10 minutes, including this effort which Stefano Pino scrapped over the line to power Omaha to victory. Westchester once again dropping points from winning position, and this is really the story of their season. A team that is 1-8 in 1-goal games. The Omaha game, of course, constitutes one of those 8 defeats, and 3 more defeats since then. You just wonder if maybe they could have scrapped a couple of these results over the line. They would have been in Omaha's position right now, but it is not to be, and they must make up ground. And someone who can help them do that is J.C. Obregon Jr., the league's joint top goal scorer, someone who is tied atop the Golden Boot race and just a menace in the final third. But against Omaha last time, struggled to make his impact on things. A Westchester team that didn't have a lot of the ball. He'll be looking to put his fingerprints on this one here this evening. On the opposite end of things for Omaha, a team that has been excellent in its last 6 matches, getting the new manager boost of new manager boosts from Vincenzo Candela, the interim headman. Team that's won 3 matches on the trot and scored 11 goals in that stretch, have revitalized their campaign. It's a big part of the reason why after their slow start, they are right in the thick of the playoff hunt. And someone who has helped them get there is Mark Bronick, an 18-year-old enjoying a breakout campaign. Someone who has scored 5 goals, and 4 of those have come in the last 5 league matches. Look for him to be a menace on the wings here this evening. Well, we are just about set to get things underway for the second and final meeting between Westchester and Union Omaha. It is a clash with massive implications for both teams' postseason hopes. Stick with us, lineups and kickoff when we return from Westchester County.
Being healthy means you can do what makes you happy with the people who make you smile. Health First Insurance plans connect you to care you can trust for a happy family and a healthy future. With Health First, it's all within your reach.
You expect Manhattan-level care, and you live in Westchester. With Northwell, you'll find it all right here through this store in Terrytown and this one in Katona, at Phelps Hospital and Northern Westchester Hospital. It's where you'll find a vast network of world-class doctors delivering everything from primary care to the most complex neurosurgery and cancer treatments. And it's all part of New York's most awarded health system, with every door leading to extraordinary care right here in Westchester. Northwell. Raise health.
Our tagline is welcome to Soccer County, not a town. And we want it to be a hub of all the soccer energy throughout the communities of this region.
As a first-year franchise and a club that's new, you know, these are landmarks in the history of the club that you want to really do something memorable.
I think it shows how soccer crazy this area is, and how much passion there is about sports and just community in general.
Being a homegrown talent, you know, in my city, it means everything, because my family, my friends, all my loved ones come to the game, watch me play, you know, and you know, I'm just try to put on for my city as much as I can.
We welcome you to Westchester County, where we are just about set for kickoff in this major 6-pointer between Westchester and Union Omaha. And now time for our starting 11, starting with Westchester. Under first-year head man Dave Carton, they go with this, a 4-3-3 with a trio of changes from the 2-1 defeat at Spokane at the weekend. Andrew Jean-Baptiste back in the 11 for the first time since early July. And then on the other side for Vincenzo Candela, he makes a trio of changes from what was a 5-0 throttling of Texoma last Saturday. Stefano Pino is back into the side, the hero of the last time these two teams met in early August. Well, we are just about set to get things going here from the stadium at Memorial Field, a historic venue in the Westchester County area in Mount Vernon, New York. A Westchester side that knows it is do or die time, a team that sits 10 points south of the playoff line with 7 matches to play. But they know it won't be easy. One of the hottest teams in the division comes to town, a side that has throttled their last 3 opponents by a combined 11-1 scoreline and looking the part of last season's champions at the key moment of the season. It will be Westchester going from right to left on your screen, Union Omaha from left to right, and we await our lead official Russell Miller's signal to get things underway. Just still awaiting things. A Westchester team that fell by a 2-1 scoreline on August 6th in Omaha. And now the second and final meeting from Westchester is just mere seconds away. It is Westchester in their blue strip with the white numbers, the yellow accents. Omaha in their away whites with the black numbers. Opposite color pairing in many respects to the one we saw with Omaha donning the home blacks and Westchester donning the away whites in Omaha last month. We are underway here from the stadium at Memorial Field. This is where Westchester must perform. Another defeat would make their playoff hopes, well, very slim, it must be said. While they would be mathematically alive, results elsewhere, especially with Omaha getting 3 points in the 6-pointer, would push them toward the break. And it just makes this match this much more important. Dave Carton saying that he understands his side must show up, as there's a miscommunication between Jean-Baptiste and Enrique Facuzet, the goalkeeper. He said to the lads, look, it's not just about trying to put ourselves back at postseason contention. It's about respectability. It's about proving that you can pick off some of the top teams in the league before the season is out. As Bronick surges forward and the cross is well beyond the reach of Pato Botello Faz, who leads the line this evening for Los Pujos. Here is your look at one of the exciting additions in season for Westchester, Josh Drack, his 15th start since joining from Charleston Battery. Still has yet to produce his first goal contribution, which, if you've ever watched Josh Drack play, that would be very surprising because he's someone who gets forward with reckless abandon and has been one of the brighter players in this Westchester side all year long. Their new goalkeeping signee, Enrique Facuzet, has been through his ups and downs already. A duo of goals conceded in each of his first 3 matches, but Dave Carton saying that with the exception of that nightmare second goal against Richmond, he could do very little about the opportunities that have come his way. Here's Okiyoshi, the loanee from Rhode Island. Omaha right now just struggling to build out of this Westchester press. Sadie, the goal scorer last time these two teams met. It's read well in the end by Schneider and Knapp, and the latter strolls forward with options ahead as well. Botello Faz drives it low towards Pino. It's just able to round the keeper, but lost his footing. But there is the early warning shot from someone who was an elite level goal scorer throughout a number of years in the USL Championship, joining the club from the Brazilian 4th Division on July 18th and producing at that. On the other side of things, we've spoken ad nauseum about Omaha's turnaround, a team that when Dom Casciato the defending championship winning manager in 2024, departed for Tampa Bay Rowdies in the USL Championship. Sat just 12th in the league table, marooned below the playoff line. What a job Vincenzo Candela, the former assistant, has done. 4 wins in the last 6. A team that has scored 19 of its 33 goals in league play since he took over. He's only managed 9 league matches, so it gives you a sense of the level of relief and new life he has provided this side that at one point found itself rooted to the bottom of the table. As Obregon is slow to return to his feet for the Golden Apple. Bolaños, a former teammate of Vincenzo Candela's, back when they both played for Richmond Kickers 3 years ago. This is Obregon, has a hit on the half volley, and takes a deflection right back to Rashid Nuhu, who is arguably the greatest goalkeeper of all time in USL League One. A 2-time Golden Glove winner, 2-time league winner as well. He's the only goalkeeper that boasts that accomplishment, at least as a starter. Well, this season he's been in and out of the lineup the last few weeks with Cole Jensen. He is still the top option when fully fit. This is played wide, numbers maybe for Omaha. Cleared only as far as Schneider, and now Ostrom, the league's assist leader with 7 goals. 7 assists, I should say. Here's Owusu. Here's Drac. Always an all-action presence on the left. Here's Bolaños. Some tumbling in the end by Chelo Martinez. Well, talking to Dave Carton this week, he mentioned how disappointing the Spokane match unfolded. He was so pleased with the first half hour and change. Said he felt it was shaping up to be a very strong away performance. And Obregon, of course, opened the scoring on 36 minutes, and Westchester was flying, but conceding just a couple minutes later. He mentioned how there was a frosty tenor throughout the side heading into the dressing room as they couldn't escort that lead into intermission. And then from there in the second half, their legs gave out a 3rd match in 8 days. He said it wasn't a lack of want, but it was a lack of will. And that doomed them to a 10th consecutive league match winless. A team that has not won since their forfeit triumph over Spokane in mid-July. Payne. Loose pass from Okiyoshi. Now Martinez. Plays it forward to Botello Foss. Fakuse off his line quickly. Well, Dave Carton mentions the level of personality and communication he provides as you see Ostrom stroll forward here, just beyond the reach of Botello Foss. Fakuse, someone who provides that loud voice at the back that they have lacked. A team that has conceded the most goals in the league by a country mile, and in many regards, partially due to the lack of a consistent presence between the sticks. As the offside flag shoots up against Stefano Pino. Says Fakuse provides that in addition to his long-range kicking ability, with the exception of that rocky error against Richmond, which allowed them to double the lead 10 days ago. It's been hard to fault him. Johnson. This is Josh Drac again. Jean-Baptiste spraying it forwards towards Sadie. And now Obregon, the danger man on it. Falls for Deshane Beckford. Appeals for a corner. They don't appear to be granted. Well, it actually appears they were. So first corner kick of the night for Westchester SC. It gives us a chance to tell you that our corner kicks are presented by Ice Air, keeping every play cool and comfortable. It is Deshane Beckford who stands over it, joining Hartford on loan joining from Hartford on loan only a couple weeks ago. It's taken within swing, flicked on and flicked in. It is that man again. Obregon strikes inside the opening 10 minutes. Well, he just can't stop scoring. He does it for fun, and now he stands alone atop the Golden Boot race. Taken to the near post, you see Obregon just flick it in at the near post. Rashid Nuhu is rooted to his line, nothing he can do. And just like that, Westchester in front in a blink. That is a sight that is so familiar for Westchester fans, a celebration that many have come to emulate around these parts. And Obregon makes it goal number 13 of the season to provide liftoff for the Golden Apple. That is the dream start for a Westchester side that knows it needs to win as many matches as possible to keep its playoff hopes alive. And they have opened the scoring in rapid fashion against Los Pujos. It's the first time Omaha has conceded in the last 204 minutes, had kept back-to-back clean sheets entering tonight. That streak is no more. And Obregon, someone who followed Dave Carton from Charlotte this offseason, and he has not disappointed. Through all of the ups and downs, he's been the lone constant and consistent presence. And Omaha with work to do. Bronick. This is Dion Akoff, the veteran fullback. Jean-Baptiste reads that well. His first start since July 2nd, the defeat against Greenville Triumph. Went off after 11 minutes with injury. Bronick crosses it in and far too tight on Fakuse. Well, it is important to note, it is a Westchester side that has dropped the most points from winning positions in league history. 35 now after taking the early lead against Spokane. Dave Carton speaking to me about defensively the lapses. He feels that in the mid-block and largely out of possession they're strong. But the problem is when the lines break down and when there are transitional moments, they have, well, been feasted upon at times. He says around 57% of their goals are a byproduct of either giveaways, transition opportunities, or just errors. And he says that's far too much if you want to be a winning team in this league. So there's been a lot of emphasis on tightening that up all season. Well, the question is, can they ride the wave of this early tally all the way to the promised land, which would be a first on-pitch home victory in league play all season? Of course, the only home win coming via that forfeit against Spokane, which in reality was a 3-2 defeat. The only victory on this ground in the second round of the U.S. Open Cup. Here's Ostrom, delivers this in, and Fakuse once again beats Bronick to it. Well, for those just joining us, we welcome you into the stadium at Memorial Field. J.C. Obregon Jr. is the point of difference so far, scoring in the 9th minute off of a flick-on header at the near post on a corner. A great delivery from Deshane Beckford. And you see now Obregon leading the Golden Boot race with 13 goals, breaking that deadlock with Carson Henderlong. It is a Westchester side that has been strong going forward. Obregon is understandably the biggest part of the reason why. When you talk to Dave Carton, he not only raves about his tenacious work ethic and will to win, there is a level with Obregon where He's such a major locker room presence. Someone who's unrelenting in his attempts to win the ball back out of possession. Constantly causes trouble with his movements off the ball as well. He's the complete forward in many respects. You're seeing someone who stands at just 5'9", being the first to a key header in the opening stages of this fixture. Just speaks to how well-rounded his game is. Now 18 goals in all competitions as well. Kickoff. It's important to note, Union Omaha, no stranger to coming from behind. They did it against Westchester in the first meeting, so they won't be shy about throwing numbers forward, a team that has been much better going forward the last couple months. Kickoff curling this in. It's an appetizing ball to the back post. A chance, and it's finished. Pato Botelho-Foss fires right back, and it's 1-1 inside 15 minutes. Like clockwork sometimes, Westchester, it's a really unfortunate lapse defensively. Botelho-Foss unattended at the back stick and finishes devastatingly. No one there to close him down. Fakose off his line and caught in no man's land, and just like that, we're all square. Well, the goal scored by the 29-year-old Botelho-Foss, who joined on a 25-day contract initially in early June before making the deal permanent on July 3rd. And a third goal in league play since signing. Does have plenty of experience in USL Championship. He's best known for his time with Detroit City, joining them in their Nisa days before following them to the championship ranks. And now in his first season of League One football, popping up and catching Westchester out. Well, if anyone expected this to be a 0-0 draw, I hate to say it, but you might be delusional, because both of these teams love to bang in goals and they do it for fun. I've already spoken about the renaissance Omaha's had since Vincenzo Candela took over. That's now goal number 20 in his 9 matches and change in league play at the helm. And Westchester, they have the league's leading goal scorer, and they hardly fail to score. And you've already been treated to 2 goals in the first 20. Well, fans, this gives us a chance to tell you that the USL and the CBS Sports Network continues in September with a League One battle of old versus new. Richmond Kickers, one of the oldest continually operated active soccer clubs in the U.S., takes on newcomer Portland Hearts of Pine on Wednesday, September 17th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network. Just beyond the 15-minute mark, and we're all square. Obregon opening the scoring inside 10 minutes. Pato Botelho-Foss, who leads the line for Omaha, firing right back in the 15th. And that is where we sit, with plenty of time remaining in this one for twists and turns to unfold. Bronick looking through to Pino in a tussle with Pierre, and the latter wins it. There's your look at Stefano Pino, someone who's also been a major presence in the USL Championship. Most recently spending last year with Birmingham Legion and bagging 10 goals in that stretch, after working his way back from an Achilles tear he suffered with Indy 11 the previous season. He is definitely someone to watch, not credited for the goal that won the match against Westchester last time. It was technically an own goal, but he created all of the havoc that led to it and did get a touch. You could argue that maybe it's a bit harsh he wasn't credited with the tally in that one. Westchester knows of him all too well. This is Bolaños, always a dangerous presence. It has plenty of space. Sadie. Darts past two defenders. Has a pop and right into the thicket of Omaha players. Now maybe a chance the other direction. Bronick plays it through to Pino. Cuts it inside. Decent stop there from Bakuse, and Payne does the rest. Once again, Omaha creating danger. Chelo Martinez this time on the end of it. See Pino here, forced wide by Pierre, and Chelo Martinez just tries to pick out that top left. Didn't quite put enough arc on it, and it allowed Bakuse the time he needed to make a relatively comfortable save. Now Westchester being caught out every time they concentrate resources forward. Maybe not the best recipe, with still plenty of time remaining in this first half. First corner of the night for Omaha. Martinez with in swing. Obregon pinging it towards Beckford, who is onto it. Has Bolaños in support. It is still Deshane Beckford. Cuts it across to Obregon. Ostrom there to deny him. What an open fixture we've been treated to through 20 minutes. Chance after chance both ways. It has the makings of potentially another USL League One thriller, and Westchester no stranger to those, for better and worse. Bronick. This is Max Schneider. Now Owusu, joining the club after years in the New York City FC Academy ranks. Spent time in MLS Next Pro as well. It is an interesting situation. Of course, Brent Coleman not in the squad this evening for Union Omaha, so forced into a change at the back, bringing in Marco Milanese alongside Owusu. Milanese, though, a fixture in the lineup during his first 2 seasons with the club, and obviously played an integral part in their 2024 USL League One triumph. It is a roster, though, that looks very different from the one that won that title, as the Players' Shield and playoff double-winning side under Dom Casciato, the team that won back-to-back Players' Shields and last season finally got over the hump to become the first ever League One team to win multiple USL League One trophies. Last season from start to finish, they were the best entity by a country mile. But losing the likes of Steven Dos Santos to retirement, a bevy of other key contributors to the USL Championship ranks, and then Lagos Kunga suffering a season-ending leg injury in the early stages of the year. So they've been forced into many in-season changes, but when you look at the way the personnel has gelled over the past few months, it has been remarkable. Here's Beckford for Westchester. Dances past Owusu. Knocked out of play for a goal kick. Well, fans, catch every heart-pounding moment at Westchester's home stadium at Memorial Field in Mount Vernon. 2025 season tickets are now on sale, offering flexible payment plans, priority access discounts, invites to exclusive events, and much more. Don't miss out on an unforgettable season of fun, friends, community, and soccer. Visit westchestersc.com to become a 2025 season ticket member today. Midway through this first half, and already a fun one brewing here in Westchester County. Bolaños, Obregon. Nearly got past Owusu. It falls kindly. Bolaños still rushing toward it and ran out of real estate. But it does go out for another ice air corner kick, keeping every play cool and comfortable. Westchester scoring off the first one. Here's Beckford. Muscled off it by Martinez. Bronick. No whistle from our referee. He says play on. You just wonder what must be going through Dave Carton's mind at this stage of the season. Someone who's so analytical about the way his teams perform. We alluded to the numerical dissection of the goals his team has conceded. He's classifying them in a bevy of different buckets. Spoke to me about 4 that maybe fit the bill of 4 buckets that they want to avoid. The likes of goals off giveaways, set pieces, transition moments, etc. And as we've already mentioned, he feels about 57% of the 60-plus goals they've conceded in all competitions fall into that bucket. And when you factor in that this team is a side that possesses the league's now top scorer and so much talent and investment across the board, he has said that that defensive performance is not good enough, and he's the first to admit it. In many respects has talked about how this team is so depleted injury-wise at the back, haven't been able to get a rhythm there, and that's part of the problem. It's been a revolving door of options, especially at center back all year. The likes of Andre Jean-Baptiste, who was projected to play a major role, only making start 5 tonight. Kemar Lawrence out long-term with recurring injury issues, and Rashid Teta and Juan Palma have bounced in and out of the squad repeatedly. That is the reality of the situation they've been coping with all season long. Corner on the way here for Omaha. And it will be Chelo Martinez standing over it. A veteran of USL League One the last 3 years. Taking towards the near post. Stabbed out of danger for the time being. Botello Vaz. Pino goes down. Referee unmoved by his appeals, and Sadie out of trouble now. And this is where he's at his best. Sadie, undercut. And a referee presumably does come back to that. I guess that's why you can't assume he has not. So Milanese off the hook. This is a blatant foul. It may not be the heaviest of contact, but there are boots right on his shins, and I think that Marco Milanese has maybe escaped a whistle there. Well, there is your look at a veteran defender in Dion Akoff. He is something of a club legend with Union Omaha. 33 years of age, the last 4 years with Los Bujos. And when you factor in some of the big moments he's provided this club, goals in both the second and third round of the Open Cup this year, including the cup set tally against San Antonio, scored the goal that allowed them to win against an MLS side in 2022 as well. The first ever League One side to do that. As part of what was a historic run of the quarterfinals under Jay Mims. Drag. This is Beckford supplying Obregon's opener. These are the moments where Westchester must be prudent. an Omaha team that has placed extensive emphasis, especially since Vincenzo Candela took over on their press. Vincenzo Candela saying that a big tweak they made in the system was how they press it, the ferocity with which they do it, and the patterns as well. And small alterations, but they've had big effects. They've allowed them to control matches, and when these teams met in Omaha, it's a big part of the reason why Westchester had less than 40% of the ball. The Golden Apple side that boasts the 4th highest average possession in the league. So that is no small feat by any means. Ostrom currently leading the Golden Playmaker race. Floats it ahead to Bronick. It's a lovely ball. Bronick lays it back off. Martinez can't pick out Botello Faz. It's cleared only as far as Schneider, though. We inch towards the 30-minute threshold, and still nothing to separate these two sides. Goals by Obregon and Botello Faz inside the opening quarter of an hour is what has us in our current situation here at the stadium at Memorial Field in Mount Vernon, New York. St. Goldfarb taking you every step of the way as we inch closer and closer to halftime. So far, following a similar match script to many Westchester matches of old. A team that takes the lead quite frequently, but protecting the lead has been their biggest issue. Competitive against so many of the top teams in this league. Unable to eke out wins against many of them. This falls to the edge of the area and knocked through the wrong set of uprights. Fans watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Johnson commits the transgression. It's important to note, this fixture isn't just crucial for Westchester's dwindling playoff hopes. For Omaha, they just climbed themselves into the top 8. A defeat here, or even drop points for that matter, would at least put that in a more perilous position. Right now, do have multiple matches in hand on the likes of Greenville, South Georgia, Texoma, many of their rivals for the postseason. Still can't afford to leave food on the table. Pino. And that rolls to Vacquezet. By the way, moments ago, Johnny Bolaños was booked for dissent, so first player to receive the caution on either side. No lack of fire in Johnny Bolaños, someone who's exceptionally competitive. A lot of conversation this year about him adjusting to a new role, though. Not really a transitional winger with this Westchester side. Someone who's tucking inside a lot more frequently. There have been growing pains that have come with that. It's still dangerous whenever he gets on it. Here's Bronick. Knocked out of danger by Jean-Baptiste. Obregon floats it towards Bolaños now. Owusu reads it quite well, it must be said. Maybe just a semblance of control by both sides over this. It was open and free-flowing throughout much of the opening 20. Now maybe you see some pragmatism come into play. Knapp switches the play in lovely fashion. This is Kickoff. This is the Omaha side that overran Westchester for large spells in early August, knocking it about with so much poise and confidence. Bolaños. Here's Kickoff. Curling it, and well beyond the reach of anyone in white. Well, it gives us a chance to tell you that you shouldn't miss your chance to be part of history with Westchester's first professional soccer club. Season tickets start at just $18 per game, bringing you world-class action at an unbeatable value. Visit westchestersc.com to learn more and lock in your seat for the 2025 season. 2025 Westchester SC season tickets are on sale now, as well as season single game tickets, of course. We're reaching that point, a Westchester side that does not play many of its closing fixtures at home. After tonight, just 3 home fixtures remain. It is a 3-match homestand at the tail end of the season here. Here's Ostrom's cross. Issues clearing for Okiyoshi. Bronick goes down. The referee unmoved by the contact. Now Sadie. Loose pass from Johnson. Knapp. Botello Foz. Ultimately, they get off scot-free. You see here, Drack first to it. Brandon Knapp tries to chase him down, and slight shove takes him awkwardly to the turf on his hip, and walking a little gingerly since. So something to watch for Westchester supporters. And they have booked Brandon Knapp for that challenge. So a booking a piece either way. Bolaños and Knapp walking the tightrope from here on out. Ostrom. He is always a handful. Vincenzo Candela raving about his all-action capabilities on the left flank. Someone who spent the bulk of last year as more of a wing back, and since the shift to a back four under Candela has adapted admirably. Sometimes wing backs, when they're forced to go into a more traditional fullback role, maybe shirk their defensive responsibilities more than expected. That is not the case with Ostrom. He is the complete package on both ends of the pitch. One of the premier fullbacks in this division. Owusu. Bashed out of trouble by Drack. Well, it would have taken a little more to beat Nuhu from that distance. This is a Westchester side that's strangers to goals outside the box, though. One of the top sides in that regard. As Pierre is ultimately penalized for this. Bit of hand fighting, and the Westchester defender pays the price. You see he and Chelo Martinez in a tussle. I don't think either party is innocent in this regard, but it did look like Martinez initiated it more. Either way, whistle in favor of Omaha, and this is a rather appetizing spot for a set piece. Martinez and Ostrom in the vicinity of it. These are scenarios where Dave Carton has worked tirelessly with his side to improve their defensive efforts, set pieces, especially from this range. Ostrom curling it in. Whistle sounded before that reached Jean-Baptiste. We may just retake this. And that we shall. Take two for Union Omaha. Ostrom again, hooking it in. Same result, but this time goes out for a corner. Chelo Martinez once again getting target practice, joining the club from Northern Colorado Hailstorm a season ago. Arcing in, falls for Owusu. Still keeping up with it. Cross comes back in. Bicycle kick from Botello Faz. It was audacious and appeals for handball. It's Pino arguing. And to his chagrin, nothing granted. Well, it's actually Pino who gets on the end of this. You see Bronick floats it back into the mixer. This was always going to be a daring attempt, and it's not one that came off. And I don't believe there was much claim on the handball, if I'm being fully honest. Fans, 2025 Westchester Soccer Club season and single game tickets are now on sale. Don't miss your chance to be part of our historic inaugural season at Memorial Field in Mount Vernon. Catch all of the action and all of the fun starting at just $18 per game. Tickets are selling fast. Visit westchestersc.com for more information. Final 5 minutes of this first half. An even scoreline. Obregon striking in the 9th minute. Pato Botello Faz firing right back in the 15th. And ever since, we've been caught in a stalemate. Martinez. Jean-Baptiste in pain. Work wonders to cut it out. Ever since that Obregon opener, we've seen a couple of isolated incidents in which he's able to pop up and make an impact. But Westchester with progressively less of the ball, especially since Omaha equalized, and that's put a major dent in the quality of service he's received. As this inches towards halftime, I think Dave Carton, oddly enough, despite holding the lead, might be more relieved with the scoreline, because with the way Omaha has imposed its will on this in the last 20 minutes, you could argue with a little more incision, they could easily be up by a goal or two. Just a lack of that touch in the final third since tying things up. Bolaños, and now Beckford. Driving ahead toward the byline. Crosses beyond Sadie, who will keep it in play. Payne on the underlap, cuts across. Nuhu does just enough. Falls for Johnson now. Sadie again. This time crosses himself, and the deflection rather fortunate for Rashid Nuhu in the end. And a promising spell comes to nothing for the Golden Apple there. A bit of chaos. This is very well worked. Sadie waits for that underlapping run of Stephen Payne. The cross is a good one. Nuhu, though, unable to pounce on it fully, and it keeps the chance alive at least for another sequence. All in all, though, no harm, no foul. Ostrom. Now Bronick on the underlap himself. Cross takes a deflection out of play for another Omaha corner. The 18-year-old's made an impression. We've mentioned the type of scintillating form he's hit in the last month or so. Omaha starting to rack up the corner count after struggling to create anything of note in the opening 15. It's Martinez within swing. It's a dangerous ball. Drac charges away. Only as far as what appears to be Knapp. And now Kickoff. Flick on towards Pino. Overzealous from Max Schneider. He's all action. Scored that early opener in the League One final as part of that 3-0 triumph over Spokane Velocity in November. And ever since, a major threat going forward since joining on a permanent basis from Indy 11 in the winter. Tied for 5th in the USL League One in chances created, and someone who has plenty of quality, a native German who at one point played in the Bayer Leverkusen Academy ranks. He was on the bench for a Europa League match during his time in the Academy as well. As you see, 2 minutes of added time separate us from halftime. It was a first half that had a flaming hot start. Since then, we have reached a bit more of a calmer phase. Neither side willing to come out of their shell too much, understanding the key implications of this fixture. Jean-Baptiste can't quite play out there. And Ostrom tenacious in his attempts to win it back. Bronick plays it forward. This is Botello Faz, the lone goal scorer for Omaha. Now Kickoff. Likely the final sojourn forward for Omaha in this one. Milanese overcooks it for Bronick. Now falls for Schneider. Ostrom with room. It's a decent ball in. Falls for Ostrom again. Botello Faz. We have hit our added 2 minutes. Still time for Omaha though. Martinez, appetizing cross. Falls for Botello Faz, still loose and knocked in. Another major error for Westchester at the back, and Mark Bronick puts Omaha in front. With likely the final kick of the first half, the 18-year-old makes it 5 goals in the last 6. Again, Westchester unable to clear their lines, and they pay the price. This squirts through Fakuze's legs, a little too much on it, and Mark Bronick waiting to knock it home ruthlessly. You can make a number of arguments. Maybe Westchester should have cleared better. Maybe Fakuze shouldn't have let it squirt free. But either way, Mark Bronick putting Omaha in front on the stroke of halftime. 2-1 Omaha. And once again, Westchester going from leading to trailing in a blink. There is the halftime whistle. A Westchester side that got off to a flying start finds itself trailing at intermission again. That man, J.C. Obregon Jr., providing liftoff inside 10 minutes. But after Botello Foss fired back, Mark Bronick providing another blow on the stroke of halftime. And Los Bujos, as things stand, in line for what would be a 4th consecutive league victory. At halftime, the scoreline reads Westchester SC 1, Union Omaha 2. The defending league champions in USL League One have the advantage after overcoming the early deficit. We'll step aside briefly here from Westchester, and when we return, the halftime show on ESPN+.
Is what makes us strong. Different towns, different dreams, different journeys. It's the businesses that fuel our neighborhoods, the families that shape our future. It's the balance of city hustle and scenic river towns. It's hard work, ambition, resilience, the drive to compete, and the will to win. No matter where we come from, here we are connected by something greater. Like the waters of the Hudson, we move with strength and purpose. When we play together, we are unstoppable. Our United by Blue jersey is more than just a uniform. It's a symbol. The deep blue represents the rivers that shape our home, while the repeating Infinity W pattern speaks to our relentless pursuit of progress. Gold accents remind us of the excellence we strive for, on and off the field. Inside every jersey, the words, "We are Westchester," serve as a reminder whether you wear it on the pitch or in the stands. You are a part of something bigger. When we stand together, we are Westchester.
Being healthy means you can do what makes you happy. With the people who make you smile. Health First insurance plans connect you to care you can trust. For a happy family and a healthy future. With Health First, it's all within your reach.
You expect Manhattan-level care, and you live in Westchester. With Northwell, you'll find it all right here through this store in Terrytown, and this one in Katona, at Phelps Hospital and Northern Westchester Hospital. It's where you'll find a vast network of world-class doctors delivering everything from primary care to the most complex neurosurgery and cancer treatments. And it's all part of New York's most awarded health system, with every door leading to extraordinary care right here in Westchester. Northwell. Raise health.
Back here in Westchester County, where at halftime the scoreline reads Westchester 1, Omaha 2. Westchester in line to drop another 3 points from a winning position if this result holds. And it's time to get a look at Westchester's upcoming schedule. This is the home stretch of their season, and if they can't get a result here this evening, the next two are imperative against Texoma and Ford Madison, a fellow pair of playoff hopefuls. And then as you head further down the schedule, their final home match takes place against a team that is on fire at the moment in FC Naples, one of the better teams top to bottom in the league. And Matt Poland has done such a good job with this side. Third in the league at the moment and unbeaten in their last 10 across all competitions. Last night winning 1-0 in Charlotte in that battle of teams inside the top 5. They just score in so many different ways. And of course, they have the headliner who writes the stories himself in Carson Henderlong, who scored a brace from corners against Westchester last month on August 30th. He is their key man. On the other end of things for Union Omaha, we've already mentioned that there is a key slate of fixtures for them as well. They have that huge fixture against Spokane later in the week. and then next weekend against Knoxville before traveling to Chattanooga. And if they can't get a result in those first two, it may be difficult to get one in the third, because this Chattanooga side has one-up Naples in every regard. They lead the league despite being a team picked towards the bottom in the preseason and now unbeaten in their last 11 matches. What a job Scott McKenzie has done. A team with a record low for average possession, leading the league and racking up results with regularity, and they do it with so many different options across the board. Well, at halftime, our scoreline reads 2-1 in favor of the defending USL League One champions. Union Omaha has the advantage after 45 minutes. When we return, a look around USL League One. Stick with us here from Westchester County.
One-timer! And the kickers are on the board. Ollie Wrights! It's Portland's pumping ahead 2-1.
Prinks tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks tires will be there for the long haul.
We don't stop chanting, we don't stop drumming, yelling and screaming and chanting.
We'll follow them wherever, pretty much. That's just the love that we have for our team.
We welcome you back to Westchester County, where at halftime the scoreline reads Westchester 1, Union Omaha 2. It's now time to get a look around the league with our news and notes this week in USL League One. USL League One surpassing its attendance record with 10 weeks remaining. That's in large part due to so many elite expansion clubs which have filled their venues. Meanwhile, Greenville finally falling in the Jägermeister Cup, reaching the semifinal but falling to Hartford Athletic. And then finally, AV Alta victory over Alianza in a friendly earlier this week. Of course, a Salvadoran giant in Alianza. That a major result for the squad as they build for the postseason. In terms of scores from around the league, here's what we have. Right now, a few matches live at the moment. No score in the Henny Derby. A 1-0 advantage as well for Tormenta in the Peach States Derby. And then, of course, last night, a 1-0 victory for FC Naples at Charlotte to move their unbeaten run to 10 matches in league play. And what a match it was. A Charlotte team that was on the front foot against a Naples squad that is no stranger about trying to counter and break without the ball. But Naples did open the scoring late. You see here, just chaos in the penalty area. Finally, a handball given against Omar Sis. And who stepped up but Jaden Onen to convert in the 74th minute to allow Naples to secure a massive road victory against a fellow playoff hopeful. Now they move into the top three. As things stand in the live table, just 4 points south of the Players' Shield title. Chattanooga right now with a 4-point cushion over Naples and Spokane as things currently stand. Well, as things currently stand here, Union Omaha with a 2-1 advantage over the hosts in Westchester. We will step aside, and then when we return, a look back at our first half here from Westchester County. Stick with us.
Our tagline is welcome to Soccer County, not a town. And we want it to be a hub of all the soccer energy throughout the communities of this region.
As a first-year franchise and a club that's new, you know, these are landmarks in the history of the club that you want to really do something memorable.
I think it shows how soccer crazy this area is, and how much passion there is about sports and just community in general.
For being a homegrown talent, you know, in my city, it means everything because my family, my friends, all my loved ones come to the game, watch me play, you know, and I'm just try to put on for my city as much as I can.
Being healthy means you can do what makes you happy. With the people who make you smile. Health First insurance plans connect you to care you can trust. For a happy family and a healthy future. With Health First, it's all within your reach.
You expect Manhattan-level care, and you live in Westchester. With Northwell, you'll find it all right here through this store in Terrytown, and this one in Katona, at Phelps Hospital and Northern Westchester Hospital. It's where you'll find a vast network of world-class doctors delivering everything from primary care to the most complex neurosurgery and cancer treatments. And it's all part of New York's most awarded health system, with every door leading to extraordinary care right here in Westchester. Northwell. Raise health.
We welcome you back to Mount Vernon. We're at halftime. Westchester trailing Union Omaha by a 2-1 scoreline. And it's time to look how we got here. A bevy of standout moments in those opening 45 minutes. And our flashback starts now. A Westchester team that got off to another strong start. This a theme of their season. You see off the corner, this taken to the near post, and Obregon flicks it in to put Westchester in front. But the lead only lasted 6 minutes because Pato Botello-Faz, the other forward for Union Omaha, finished. This a tight angle effort. Fakuse caught in no man's land after struggling to try and maybe decide whether or not to come out and claim the cross, and he is paying the price as a result. Omaha creating a number of other chances. Chelo Martinez driving that toward goal. It drew a strong palm from Fakuse. And then later on in the half, both teams having their moments in possession. But then in the late stages, Westchester with their best chance. This cross in from Stephen Payne, too tight on Rashid Nuhu, but at least an eyebrow-raising moment for Westchester side that it must be said fell on the back foot for the tail end of that first half. But unfortunately, with the last kick before the break, they were caught out. This effort comes in from Botello-Faz, squirts through the legs of Fakuse, and Mark Bronick waiting to tap it in for his 5th goal in the last 6 league matches. He is in some sizzling form, the 18-year-old, and he has Omaha in front. There's your look at the halftime stats. In many ways fits the bill of what we saw in Omaha. Omaha on the front foot, 64% of the ball, a clear shots advantage, 5 shots on target to Westchester's 1. And unfortunately for Westchester, a similar match script, taking the lead and conceding twice to fall behind. The difference is all those goals occurring in the first half instead of the second. So we'll see what the final 45 has in store for us now. That is your look at how the teams stack up. Westchester side that, as things stand, if they were to suffer defeat, would fall a full 13 points south of the playoff line with just 6 games remaining on their docket. Not quite mathematically eliminated, but getting very close. For Omaha, that would provide some separation, especially considering that as things stand, South Georgia Tormenta leads Greenville Triumph at halftime. So if Omaha were to drop points, they'd actually fall outside the top 8. So a lot riding on this one. The difference is, though, Omaha does have more matches in hand compared to their opponents. This is match 22 for them. The likes of Tormenta, Texoma, and Greenville all on 24 games played after tonight. Well, Westchester has made a change. Connor McGlynn, who returned as a substitute in both matches last week from a long-term knee injury, is back in the fold. Dave Carton saying that physio's not ready to let him play a full 90, but 45 minutes is comfortable, and he enters as Westchester hopes to rectify things and provide new life for their postseason hopes. He replaces Prince Sadie, so that is an interesting change from Dave Carton. His team trailing, and they bring off an out-and-out attacker for a deeper-lying midfielder and center-back hybrid. But McGlynn is great in possession, so that's likely the reason why they've made that alteration, and probably suggests a change in shape as well. So it will be Omaha to get us back underway, going from right to left on your screen. Westchester in their blue strips, going from left to right. We are back underway. This perhaps the biggest 45 minutes of Westchester's season. A team that has been tested a considerable amount. Now they must answer the bell late in the campaign. As you see the substitution presented by Benjamin Steakhouse, always a prime choice. So McGlynn in for Sadie. Not the alteration Dave Carton goes to. Has a more full-strength bench than he would have had even 2 weeks ago, with McGlynn coming back into the fold. Rashid Teta also included in the squad after being out for about a month with injury. Dean Guzin, who has started a good chunk of Westchester's matches this year, is also an option should Westchester need to throw caution to the wind. For those joining us, we welcome you into the stadium at Memorial Field. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action. Westchester got off to the flying start. Obregon, a near post header inside 10 minutes. Pato Botello-Faz responding 6 minutes later, though, and then on the stroke of halftime, Mark Bronick with the final kick of the first half, powering one in after an effort from Botello-Faz squirted through Fakuze's legs. And that is where we find ourselves. Here's Beckford. Played into the area, a chance for Westchester. That sails over the bar. Decent effort there from Taimu Okiyoshi, though. In his first season as a professional and on loan from championship side Rhode Island. Best known for his time at Marshall, in which he engineered a run to the College Cup semifinals this past fall. What a tournament that was. Falling to Vermont in the national championship game. And golden goal at that. Okiyoshi, one of the best deep-lying midfielders in the country last year in the college level. Here's Ostrom. Pass that finds the feet of Beckford. And linking with Obregon well. Beckford first to it. And has pace to burn. No one there to greet it in blue, though. Bronick. He is the difference maker as things stand. And Botello-Faz is another key presence for Omaha tonight. Knapp. Well, it must be said, we've spoken about Westchester's woes protecting leads. A league record 35 points dropped from winning positions. As things currently stand, it would climb to 38 and be the second consecutive match in which they drop points from a winning scenario. In fact, 4 of the last 5 would fit that criteria. Dropping all 3 at Spokane last week, and then dropping a pair at Naples as well. Physical challenge between Bronick and Payne, and the former commits the transgression. Well, what a rise Mark Bronick has enjoyed over his 3 seasons as a pro. Signed his first pro contract out of the USL Academy ahead of the playoffs last year. Last season featuring a bit more sporadically, but this year emerging into a regular starter at just 18 years of age. And he is in the goal-scoring form of his young professional career, flourishing under Vincenzo Candela, as are many of his teammates. And when you think about the season, when it's all said and done, Vincenzo Candela will get deserved praise for revitalizing a campaign that at times looked dead in the water. A team that suffered so much in the way of preseason injuries and personnel turnover, but making in-season additions and alterations. Vincenzo Candela mentioning when he took the job, he just had to tell the guys, we need to have more fun. Yes, we are professionals, and yes, winning is the goal, but we need to make sure we're enjoying our football. And it's amazing what a little enjoyment can do on a football pitch, because they are in the form of their season to date and getting red hot at the right time. While nobody would want to travel to Chattanooga or Spokane for a hypothetical quarterfinal matchup, it sure beats the predicament Omaha was in even a month ago. Jean-Baptiste. Here is Bobby Pierre, who's playing a bit wider than his normal deployment. This is Johnson. Beckford. If any side can procure goals in a hurry, Westchester would not be a bad one to consider. Yes, the goals come in waves, but when they find the back of the net, they're usually spectacularly worked. It's lofted towards Bolaños. Nearly fell for Obregon. Schneider. McGlynn chips it towards Obregon. Chance not lost yet. Bolaños picks out Obregon, who's down on the edge of the area. The referee does not grant his wishes. Well, Fan Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. So visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. In the early stages of the second half, a 2-1 scoreline in favor of the defending League One winners in Union Omaha. Westchester right now playing catch-up. Took the early lead, pegged back 6 minutes later, and then Mark Bronick's difference-making tap-in before the break is what sees Westchester behind. And Kickoff looking to compound that misery. Cuts it across to Pino. Falls for Bronick, off the post, still loose, and Fakuse able to clean it up. That was nearly a 5-star counter. Mere inches from making it 3-1 for Omaha. You see Bronick here, fields it so well, and on the half volley lashes it right off the corner of the goal between post and crossbar. Just puts his laces through it and nearly had a spectacular. Crossbar still reverberating after that. Well, this in many ways does play in Omaha's hands, because It is a Westchester side that, while they are known for some brilliance in possession, they are also known for the vulnerability with which they exhibit when they lose it. Chances on the counter should be pretty frequent from here on out for Los Bujos. And if you're an Omaha supporter, that will give a lot of your standout attackers, the likes of Pino, Botello, Foz, and Bronick, acres of space. Not to mention what Ostrom could conjure if he gets space. Payne. Well, the story of Omaha's resurgence is one we've touched on throughout the night, but it is remarkable that Vincenzo Candela, someone in his early 30s, is overseeing this, as Bronick was just offside anyways. He was promoted to the interim head coaching role on July 9th. After Dom Casciato left, and I'm sure many around Union Omaha were wondering if maybe that was their season clawing to its unfortunate conclusion. Their two-time Player Shield winning coach in Dom Casciato, who had imposed such a clearly defined style that revolutionized the league over the last 2 years. But in many ways this year, so many teams going away from that possession-oriented, ball-dominant approach. These two, the last of their kind in many respects, because right now Chattanooga is the new norm. Teams that play without the ball, invite pressure, and then counter analytically and aggressively. The likes of Chattanooga and Naples have been the two real biggest examples of that. Portland Hearts of Pine also demonstrating that at times as well. So you maybe wondered, have the times caught up to Omaha? Has this counter trend maybe rendered them outside the playoff places for the first time? Well, Vincenzo Candela has answered that with an emphatic no. His side, the second highest team in terms of average possession in the league, and still racking up results. Here's Bolaños. Ostrom floats it forward. Now Pino in space. Bronick fouled by Payne. But it was an interesting dilemma Vincenzo Candela faced. His side underperforming their XG massively. In the last 3 matches, they have rectified that. 11 goals entering the night in the last 3. They've added another 2 this evening after falling behind. Not to mention their 5-0 obliteration of Texoma last weekend, in which they scored twice in the opening 15 and never looked back. 5 different goal scorers in that fixture as well. Well, defensively, they've been through their ups and downs, even tightening up in that regard of late. They maybe don't fit the exact mold of the team that won the title a year ago, but they're still dangerous nonetheless. Here's Martinez. Chips it forward to Botello Flas. Flag stays down. Clattered into by Drac. And yet again, our referee ignores the arguments. Russell Miller is definitely not shy about denying penalty shouts. He's waved away 3 total across both sides. This may be the one that had the most merit. See Botello Faz, it's a heavy touch, which does take him out of reach of it. And it's a 50-50 in which Drac does get some of the ball. On a different night, maybe you see that given. Botello Faz is still having a word with our official. There is your look at Dave Carton, his first year at the helm of this expansion club in Westchester. Spent years under Mike Jeffrey's tutelage with Charlotte Independence, and that's where he's built the relationships with the likes of J.C. Obregon Jr., Joel Johnson, and a fair few others. Of course, played an integral role in their run to the USL League One final in 2023. A match in which that Charlotte side fell on penalty kicks in the Dogwood Derby to North Carolina FC. He's someone who's dedicated to player development, a native of Wexford in Ireland, who has coached across the board, college and professional levels. Obergon. McGlynn. Floats it towards Beckford. Hearing word Noah Powder is getting set to enter for Taimu Okiyoshi. That would be attack-minded. Here's Botello Faz in plenty of space now for Omaha. Bronick left it dangling for McGlynn. Now Bolaños. And this is Okiyoshi, perhaps his final involvement of the night. Has Beckford with him and plays him late. Hearing word Rashid Teta will also replace Andrew Jean-Baptiste. That a return for Teta, who's missed quite some time. We are inside the final half hour, beyond the hour mark. And we still have a match that hangs in the balance. As things stand, a 2-1 advantage to Union Omaha. Mark Bronick's difference-making blast at the tail end of the first half is what separates the two sides after Westchester grabbed the early advantage and were pegged back by Botello Faz. It is the identical scoreline to the one we saw in Omaha on August 6th. The only difference is the goal scored in the first half instead of the second. Schneider. Pino plays the dummy. Jean-Baptiste breaks it up. Bolaños. Beckford taking on Kickoff and negotiates beyond him. Never truly wrapped his boots around that though. Well, here are the two changes. Rashid Teta for Andrew Jean-Baptiste in a identical like-for-like change at center back. Meanwhile, Taimu Okiyoshi, a deeper-lying midfielder replaced by Noah Powder, one of the top 10 chance creators in all of USL League One. So Dave Carton will go for this, unsurprisingly so. And Noah Powder hoping to be the difference maker on this occasion. Both substitutions are presented by Benjamin Steakhouse, always a prime choice. Jean-Baptiste night comes to a close, plays about an hour on this lovely Westchester night. And I'm sure they're just glad to have him back in the equation after a prolonged period outside of the squad yet again. Ostrom. Well, fans catch every heart-pounding moment at Westchester's home stadium at Memorial Field in Mount Vernon. 2025 season tickets are on sale now, offering flexible payment plans, priority access discounts, invites to exclusive events, and much more. Don't miss out on an unforgettable season of fun, friends, community, and soccer. As you see Pino here, try to create an opportunity. Sprays it wide to Kickoff, into the path of Martinez, and right at Fakuzé. Well, you can visit westchestersc.com to become a 2025 season ticket member today. Schneider, Botello Faz. Payne tracks the return ball step for step. Well, chance materializing here for Omaha. You see Pino work wide. Not a bad ball there from Kickoff. Nearly did pick out the runner. But Fakuzé is able to get there first. Schneider. Pino is sent tumbling. A referee waves play on. Kickoff again. Cross goes out of play for yet another Omaha corner, their first of this second half. More target practice for Chelo Martinez. Spent time with Ford Madison as well as Northern Colorado before joining Omaha this winter. With outswing, floats it into the mixer, just headed over by Pino. Strong delivery this. You see Pino connects with it sweetly, just can't keep it down. And another warning shot for Westchester, a side that at times has struggled to defend set pieces. Nearly found themselves under threat again there. Well, fans, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing app. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Not a bad seat in the house here at the 3,900-seat venue at the stadium at Memorial Field. The venue opened in 1931. We've already spoken about how it's steeped in history. At one point hosting the Jackson 5. Also famous, of course, for being the site of the famous Coca-Cola commercial with Mean Joe Green. At one point, the Westchester Bulls played here, the Atlantic Football League team in the late 1960s as well. And now the home of Westchester Soccer Club. Hearing word Omaha is readying a triple change as we speak. And you wonder what is in Vincenzo Candella's mind. Someone with experience in this league. We've already touched on his time with the Richmond Kickers. Won the 2022 USL League One Players' Shield there at the tail end of his illustrious career. Martinez. Pino is offside. I'm sure if you're Dave Carton, you'll be imploring your lads for urgency at this stage. It's a 6-pointer for a number of reasons, not just because Westchester needs the points to stay in the hunt. It is literally a direct match with the team in the 8th and final playoff spot. Beckford cuts inside, just wide, but that is much better from the Golden Apple. Well, there is the Hartford Loney starting to make some noise. It's quick interplay, and he just drags it wide of that near post. Three changes, the first of which comes in the form of Ryan Betcher, who scored against Westchester last time out. He's going to replace Stefano Pino. So that may allow Chelo Martinez to play in a deeper lying role. Meanwhile, in addition to that, Lawrence Wooten, the Englishman, as well as Sergio Ors Navarro, get set to enter. Ors Navarro, a star at West Virginia. So Bronick, the goal scorer, and Pino both depart. Sergio Ors Navarro replaces Bronick in a like-for-like change, and then Dion Akoff is out for Lawrence Wooten. So I believe that means Knapp goes to right back, and then Wooten will sit in the pivot. But we'll see how this unfolds, as all three changes presented by Benjamin Steakhouse, always a prime choice. So there are the changes. Betcher for Pino, Ors Navarro for Bronick, and then Wooten also in. As Omaha looks to tighten up shop, Akoff the third man to depart. And Fakuse is now fouled. Hasn't had many touches of it, Charlie Ostrom. You know, whenever he gets on it in the final third, he is such a presence to cope with. And of course, Ryan Betchert, the man who clatters into the goalkeeper Fakuse, is booked with his first involvement. Loney from St. Louis City too, who's bagged 6 goals in his previous 9 appearances in league play with Los Bujos, including that equalizer in the final 7 minutes against Westchester in Omaha last month. Johnson, this is Payne, Obregon. Drawing a duo of defenders, and unsurprisingly, so at that. Since his opener, very little service to write home about, and you just wonder, can Westchester control the game enough to get him involved in things in the final third? He can only do so much. This long throw flicked on, nearly fell for Bolaños. It's not clear just yet, although Martinez has done so rather wonderfully. Fans, don't miss your chance to be part of history with Westchester's first professional soccer club. Season tickets start at just $18 per game, bringing you world-class action at an unbeatable value. Visit westchestersc.com to learn more and lock in your seat for the 2025 season. Westchester SC season and single game tickets are on sale now. Closing stages of this one, and as things stand, Westchester's playoff hopes are in grave danger. A side that has not won any of its last 10 matches in all competitions. If this result holds, it will be 13 points, separating them from the playoff line. Rather remarkable considering all of their preseason acclaim, a team that brought in so many established League One and Championship veterans to form one of the top squads on paper in the league, but it has not materialized this season, and they find themselves desperately having to claw back. Dave Carton has said there is no quit in our dressing room. Our guys continue to be bought in. They had a conversation with me last month and even said to me, Dave, if we're gonna lose, we wanna do it our way. We wanna win our way and lose our way. And that means that we believe in your game model and your desired way of playing, dominating the ball, trying to create chances and impose your will on things. And that has been their style, unyieldingly so. Cross comes towards Obregon. This is Betcher, his first proper touch. Chelo Martinez in a much deeper lying role, as you see Wooten also sitting in the pivot. Milanese, former Napoli Youth Academy presence. And they let it run for Betcher. Wooten, Schneider, cleared by Drack. Martinez. Here's Urs Navarro's first involvement. Ostrom. Looking at the touchline, Dean Guzin is stood there for Westchester, and now it is time for Westchester to chase this with reckless abandon. Ostrom. Beckford does keep this in play. Well, he did not. Joel Johnson about to exit for Dean Guzin. defensive midfielder for Guzin, a key attacking presence all year long. Dave Carton throughout the year has challenged him to produce more in the final third. This would be quite the moment for him to do so. That substitution presented by Benjamin Steakhouse, always a prime choice. And we'll see if Dean Guzin is the prime choice for Westchester as we enter the final 15. One of the many Dutch presences in this squad, most recently playing in the Polish second tier for a season and a half, but has played in so many prominent Dutch academies throughout his youth career, the likes of Ajax and Feyenoord, the two giants in the Eredivisie. Cross is pinged in. Botella Flas plays across. Now Beckford for Westchester. Can't negotiate his way out of trouble. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on the Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. We enter the final 15 minutes, and there is a man down for Westchester in the form of Stephen Payne. Golden Apples still trail by a 2-1 scoreline. Mark Bronick with the tally on the stroke of halftime that separates the two squads. Stephen Payne may now be the man to vacate. This is a concerning sight for Westchester, their veteran fullback, who's played in so many big matches across a number of high-profile clubs in this league. He's now gingerly walking off the pitch. We'll see if he's able to walk this off or not. As of now, seems to be waiting for a signal to re-enter, so that's a more welcome sight than perhaps we would have initially thought. Long throw from Ostrom, flicked into the danger zone. It reaches Schneider now. Cross back in, Teta nods away to the edge of the area, and that bashed well over the bar. Ultimately comes to nothing as Wooten pops it over. Well, fans, 2025 Westchester Soccer Club season tickets are now on sale. Don't miss your chance to be part of our historic inaugural season at Memorial Field in Mount Vernon. Catch all of the action and all of the fun starting at just $18 per game. Tickets are selling fast. Visit westchestersc.com for more information. Single game tickets are also on sale for those interested in attending a game at Memorial Field. It is a tremendous atmosphere, buoyed by the 914th Infantry, which has continued to turn out despite a rocky slate of results over the course of this season at home. Dave Carton mentioning how grateful he is for their support, even a couple weeks ago, leaving his office to have a conversation with some of the supporters during the week. They were out making a tifo for the match against Richmond on September 3rd, excuse me. And prior to that, Dave Carton having a conversation with them, getting to know his prominent supporters who attend every match. Very little for Rashid Nuhu to contend with since that Obregon opener. I'm sure he prefers it that way. Westchester's lone shot on goal was the goal. Westchester, another man just entered the book. Stephen Payne was actually just cautioned. So something to watch as he re-enters the fray. Teta. Powder. Fouled by Schneider. This is Bobby Pierre strolling forward for the Golden Apple. Bolaños knocked it out of play. It has been that kind of evening for Westchester as things stand. And unfortunately for the Golden Apple, it looks to be a familiar match script that has reared its ugly head yet again, leading and then falling behind after taking the early advantage. Can Obregon and company change it? Where's Navarro? Lost it out of bounds. Teta. McGlynn plays it through to Obregon, who now has some room, and now forced wide. Maybe something on for Westchester here. Drac. Guzin's first proper touch. And cutting inside, finds Obregon. Has his effort deflected out, but a rare corner for Westchester here in the second half. And it gives us a chance to tell you that our corner kicks are presented by Ice Air. Keeping every play cool and comfortable. Schneider was booked before the corner. So another Omaha man that at least will have to watch himself between now and full time. Guzin stands over it. He's been a specialist in these scenarios. Within swing, towards the back post. Question is who it took a touch off of. And the answer appears to be Westchester.
Your attention, please. A caution has been issued by the referee to Union Omaha. Number 23, Max Schneider.
eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. We are inside the final 10 minutes. All three goals occurring in the first half. Obregon on 9 minutes, pegged back by Pato Botello Faz on 15. And then Mark Bronick in first half stoppage time with the tap in after Botello Faz's effort squirted through Fakuze's legs. And ever since, both teams battling to a stalemate in many respects, as McGlynn is now cautioned, the halftime substitute. Westchester unable to impose themselves on this match, understanding the predicament they faced at halftime, but they have yet to truly take things over or create anything major of note in the second. And at a certain point, you must do so in order to have any hope of getting something from this. And if you're Westchester, well, a draw isn't necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't do you as much good as a win would. This played through. Martinez is muscled off it. A loss, though, is an expense in many respects Westchester cannot afford. We've already spoken about what the gap is in the current live table. It's not mathematical elimination, but it pushes you dangerously close to that point. Botello Faz. And he commits the foul on Teta. Ryan Jiba is getting set to enter at the next dead ball for Union Omaha. Chelo Martinez is the name we should see on the board. Pierre. Is there late magic in Westchester's locker? Here's Betcher. Has Ors Navarro with him and opts to use him. This is Sergio Ors Navarro to wrap it up. Stephen Payne intervenes in the nick of time. And now more changes beckoning for Westchester as well. Samori Powder is getting set to replace Deshane Beckford. So both Powder brothers on the pitch, Samori and Noah. Samori will fill in on the right flank for Beckford in a more natural advanced role. 24-year-old who Dave Carton says is one of the most naturally gifted and talented players in this squad. One of the best overall athletes as well, who has a penchant for the spectacular. And then on the other end of things, we've already mentioned Ryan Giba in, Cello Martinez out. Both substitutions presented by Benjamin Steakhouse, always a prime choice. Inching towards the final five, a corner here for Omaha. Outswinging ball, nodded right at Fakuse. It is now or never for Westchester. Will they procure a moment their fans have been desperately seeking? It is a side that has not accomplished a home victory in league play on this ground all year. They're the only team in the league without a clean sheet as well. And despite being so competitive in so many of these matches, as things currently stand, they are in line for another agonizingly close defeat. Another defeat in a one-goal game, at least as things currently lie. Ors Navarro crosses it in, nearly reached the back post. But even with Omaha bossing the lead, you see them control this match so comfortably. Westchester with so few avenues to break forward throughout the second. Botello Faz. Cross comes back in and just headed wide. Ryan Betcher was the lad who latched onto it. Pierre. Bombing it upfield. Nearly reached Samori Powder. Fans, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to uslchampionship.com or uslleague1.com for the complete TV listings. Here is Obregon, and he was offside. And as we inch later and later, Westchester fans must be asking themselves, is it really going to unfold this way again? Or can we finally procure that magical moment we've been hoping for quite some time? They've been good enough to get results in a lot of these defeats. Here tonight, I don't know if it fully fits the bill. Omaha has definitely been the aggressor throughout the second half, and they've had great control of the match. Maybe Westchester can buck the trend with a flip script like this one. Ors Navarro trying to wrap it up. Decent effort, but it was off. He's someone at West Virginia that scored 15 goals as a grad student, Sun Belt Player of the Year last fall. Guzin. McGlynn. Pierre is fouled. We inch towards the final minute of the added 90. All eyes will be on the fourth official in a matter of moments. Things look rather bleak for Westchester. Their rapidly dwindling postseason hopes are slipping further and further away. This is a fixture that when you looked at the table, you figured had to be at least a point, ideally a victory. It seems they may get neither. Payne. Guzin. Powder. This is Johnny Bolaños. McGlynn. Drac. This is Samori Powder now. Finally starting to knock it about with some confidence. Guzin. Sprays it wide to Drac. He does have options in the area. Noah Powder. Not on the same wavelength as Obergod. With the exception of that corner kick opener, that's the story of their night whenever they've had it. Unable to play through a reasonably tough Omaha back line. As you see, 4 minutes is what separates us from full time. Can Omaha get over the line and solidify itself once again inside the playoff places with multiple matches in hand on its adversaries? It is a 2-1 advantage to Tormenta. Meanwhile, Madison with a 1-0 lead over Richmond Kickers in another match to watch for playoff hopefuls. Pinged forward. Wooten. Betcher. Where's Navarro? Schneider. Curling it. Fakuzé read it to perfection. Is there time for Westchester to provide that moment to get the fans out of their seats? Teta. Pierre. It's a loose ball towards Drac. Telofas looking to play in behind. He may be booked for this challenge on Teta. That he is. No real surprise there. The 29-year-old's in the referee's book and shown a second yellow. Sent off, and Omaha will have to spend the remainder of this one down to 10. Well, he had not been booked prior, but he was booked twice in rapid succession here. And in the closing stages, Botelofa sent off. That's a yellow card challenge. I believe it's his reaction which pushed our referee over the edge. Shown the yellow, and then the red card followed shortly thereafter.
Your attention, please.
So Botelofas off in the final minute of stoppage time. And that's at least notable because Omaha has some key fixtures on its schedule in terms of its playoff chase. Spokane up next on Wednesday notably. He will not feature in that fixture. And Omaha will make a change to account for that, where Lawrence Wooten, who subbed onto the pitch, is now going to come off in place of Anderson Holt. And that substitution, as always, presented by Benjamin Steakhouse, always a prime choice. Quick cameo for Wooten, and he's on to defend this set piece. Floated in and routine for Nuhu, and you just wonder, was that their final chance?
Your attention, please. Substitution for Union Omaha.
All smiles for that man. A rather calm night by his standards. He did more than enough to get them over the line. Hardly put a foot wrong. We are beyond the added 4 minutes. The red card probably took up about a minute. So you'd fancy Westchester to have one more chance. And Fakuse way off his line. Floats it into the quarter of uncertainty, and Nuhu collects. And the push for Westchester may come to an anticlimactic halt. Navarro wins the header. Is there time for one final break forward? Well beyond the added 4. Fakuse again, blasts it long. Cleared only as far as Payne. Options the other way now for Omaha. This is Bolaños for Westchester. McGlynn. Looking for some more powder. Unable to pick him out. Payne. Cleared only as far as Connor McGlynn. Guzin. McGlynn snatches it right back. Guzin on the turn. Plays it wide. Bolaños again. Cutting inside, and a rather tame effort by his standards. There is the full-time whistle. Another brutal night for Westchester, taking the lead and falling yet again. Union Omaha coming from behind to take a 2-1 victory and complete the season sweep of Dave Carton's side. Westchester now 13 points off playoff pace. Their playoff hopes rapidly dwindling with just 6 games to play. Meanwhile, for Union Omaha, with still plenty left on their calendar, they sit in the 8th and final postseason spot, keeping pace with the likes of Tormenta. We'll step aside briefly when we return, a look back at the 90 minutes that just transpired. Stick with us from Westchester County.
If you're waiting to see a player after the game, we ask that you wait for them outside the venue.
What makes Westchester different is what makes us strong. Different towns, different dreams, different journeys. It's the businesses that fuel our neighborhoods, the families that shape our future. It's the balance of city hustle and scenic river towns. It's hard work, ambition, resilience, the drive to compete, and the will to win. No matter where we come from, here we are connected by something greater. Like the waters of the Hudson, we move with strength and purpose. When we play together, we are unstoppable. Our United by Blue jersey is more than just a uniform. It's a symbol. The deep blue represents the rivers that shape our home, while the repeating Infinity W pattern speaks to our relentless pursuit of progress. Gold accents remind us of the excellence we strive for, on and off the field. Inside every jersey, the words, "We are Westchester," serve as a reminder whether you wear it on the pitch or in the stands. You are a part of something bigger. When we stand together, we are Westchester.
Being healthy means you can do what makes you happy. With the people who make you smile. Health First Insurance Plans connect you to care you can trust. For a happy family and a healthy future. With Health First, it's all within your reach.
You expect Manhattan-level care, and you live in Westchester. With Northwell, you'll find it all right here through this store in Terrytown, and this one in Katona, at Phelps Hospital and Northern Westchester Hospital. It's where you'll find a vast network of world-class doctors delivering everything from primary care to the most complex neurosurgery and cancer treatments. And it's all part of New York's most awarded health system, with every door leading to extraordinary care right here in Westchester. Northwell. Raise health.
We welcome you back to Westchester County. We're at full time. The scoreline reads Westchester 1, Union Omaha 2. Another heartbreaking defeat for Westchester as we get a look at our full-time highlights. Yet again, Westchester starting fast after just 9 minutes. A familiar figure up front making his mark. J.C. Obregon Jr. opening the scoring with a flick-on header, but just 6 minutes later, they were pegged back. Pato Botello-Foss receives this at the far post. Fakuzé can't close down his far post angle, and it is finished off very well by the 29-year-old who has experience in USL Championship. And then later on in the first half, there were chances. Union Omaha continued to push on. Chelo Martinez with this effort that was saved, clawed away in many respects by Enrique Fakuzé, who did enough to keep Westchester level at that time. And then Westchester had their chances on occasion the other end. This the best of them, this low cross from Stephen Payne, which was cut out by Rashid Nuhu, and the follow-up chances came to nothing. But after this, Westchester's vigor going forward, so to speak, faded quickly, because Mark Bronick would put them behind right at the last kick of the first half. The effort from Botello-Foss squirts through Fakuzé's legs, and Bronick onto it to finish and make it 2-1 at intermission. And from there, Westchester seemed to fade. They had occasional moments, but Omaha honestly had the better of the second half chances. Mark Bronick pummeling one off the crossbar. That the last major standout chance of the game. And Westchester's efforts to get a result came to an underwhelming halt. For our terrific crew from Westchester County, I'm Sam Goldfarb. I say so long from Mount Vernon. Westchester falling in 2-1 fashion, and now 13 points off playoff pace. Meanwhile, Omaha right in the thick of the hunt inside the top 8. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.